Hello, everyone, and thanks for listening. Hello, everyone. Thank you for listening. So, Stacey Dash is trying to run for a Republican seat. And she's the clueless star and former Fox commentator. Stacey Dash is running for Congress in California, unfortunately. So, I know if anybody has been looking at the news, if they've, even if you don't look at the news, if you've been looking on social media at some of the things that, when Stacey Dash was on Fox News and some of the things she had been saying, um, this doesn't strike me as odd, but it just gives you an idea of the people that we're dealing with here. And she's African American, and she's sort of, to me, like how when Omarosa was working under Donald Trump, and there were a lot of controversial things that happened during the time she was there. Even now, now that she's not there, and so it's just crazy. But even in the Black community, we have Black people who, it's like for them, they kiss up to white people, like it gives them brownie points. Let's say all of the most horrible things we can say about our own race of people. Let's belittle people and make them feel like they're less than. Let's do all these horrible things, say all these horrible things on TV. So I guess they can get paid for it, I suppose, and they get a thrill out of that. Or maybe they feel like maybe it's going to get them a leg up in the community, or maybe they're going to be able to gain more status and more economic power to pretty much throw their own type of people under the bus, their own race of people under the bus, basically. And so a lot of this has gone on for a long time, actually. There are people, like, all on YouTube, they're all on the websites. There's people that'll say things that are sometimes even racial or sexist things of people from their own background. Black women ain't shit. Black women this, black women that. And then you get a lot of Black people who will act as though they're siding with white people. Oh, aren't Black people are more racist than whites, and all of this. It's totally ignoring all of the things that have happened throughout history. And pretty much they're just going on what's going on right now, the reactions of people, which is very much justified if you think about some of the struggles that folks are going through that have pretty much predicted the future of the Black Americans today. What wouldn't you expect? But a lot of these people, they're in positions where they're working under somebody is scripting their what to say, or they're prompting them, well, if you say this, we'll pay you this amount of money. And a lot of times they put more fuel to the fire. And white racist people love these people. They love to hear them talk bad about people of their own background, belittle people, say horrible things. And Stacey Dash is not the only one. There have been other Black people, Black men that are on Fox News that have said things that are horrible. There's a lot of them who said things that are controversial. There's been people who aren't even in politics, movie stars, Denzel Washington, certain people that have said things that don't really always sit well with the Black community. There are people, they're, in a position where they have money and they're far removed from these communities. They never really are, there for the community. They're just representative. You see them in movies, you see them on a commercial, or you see them in politics, but they don't actually go in and help people. They're not really doing anything to help others. And you don't see them donating money to people in these communities that are local, they just pretty much add fuel to the fire, and they pretty much put people in a more vicarious situation than they already are. And so, or they say things that are really controversial and hot button topics or hot button statements that cause people to have a lack of trust in them. And so, this is the thing that we get. And this can happen with anybody else from other backgrounds. You know, I've seen other people from other you know, ethnic groups where somebody is saying something pretty controversial and it doesn't really sit well with the general population of people, and it makes people revved up. And a lot of times these people, they take money to do this. Um, he pretty much distanced themselves, and they're all out, they're self-absorbed, they're all out for themselves. And so that's the reason why it's so easy for them to get up there on TV and say these things. And they know that you're not gonna do anything to them. You might discredit them, you may not want to watch any programs they're in, or you may not want to participate in something that they're involved in. But, there's going to always be some people that are going to shake their hand and they're going to kiss up to them. They say, "Oh, you're saying the things that we're afraid to say." And so you do have some people in the Black community who live in situations where they're bourgeois, and they will not feel as though that a lot of these things apply to them, when in fact they do in some form or fashion. And they distance themselves. And sometimes you'll have somebody, maybe you'll have a little more education, or he'll have a little more, well, education nowadays is not even, because you can be in debt and be economically. And maybe they were lucky enough to invest in something, or they save money, or that maybe their family were really, really good about trying to, you know, do things on their own to try to preserve what little they have. Or, sometimes people marry into money, and so it passes down to the generations, which still are African. They may not have had similar struggles, or they don't understand, and so they distance themselves, or they feel that they're better than those. "Oh, I'm not like those Black people," or "I'm not Black, I'm not Black, I'm just American." We've heard that. I'm not like her or him. So we get people, a lot of them, you'll see them, they'll come on the news. And so that's the reason why you have these people that do that kind of stuff and feel comfortable about doing it. And well, with that being said, look for Stacey Dash in California running for Congress. What do you think? Is she going to get your vote, or thumbs down? Thanks for listening.